Well, here to discuss Prince's music, his legacy, is Vice President of Marketing and Communications for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Todd Mesek, and Vice President of Marketing and PR for Running Press and former book publicist for Prince, Kathleen Schmidt. Two of you have such great memories, and we want to talk about some of your stories you also have from working with them. But I want to show you both, and all of us can enjoy this. The inspiration has reached so many people. Broadway last night, the curtain call for Color Purple. Watch what the cast did in honor of Prince. And then they led the entire audience singing together Purple Rain, and everybody knew the lyrics. Everybody knows this song.
That's Jennifer Hudson.
That's Jennifer in the orange.
Member of Color Purple. And all of Broadway, they had purple lights everywhere. There was certainly homage at every level of artistry for the lost great artist.
Hamilton also did their own. In fact, the lead was able to rap the start of one of the songs, which is incredible. Kathleen, I want to start with you. We all feel like we have an individual memory, but right. you work directly with the man. How are you feeling today, and what are the memories that are coming to front of mind?
I don't feel like this is real. When the news alert came across my phone yesterday, I stopped what I was doing, and I thought to myself, this cannot be real. This cannot be real. And then, you know, everybody that I know in the business was texting me. I worked with him in 2008.
You worked with him on a book project?
Yes, we did a coffee table book with him at Simon & Schuster when I was there, and it was way more than being a book publicist. It was doing
It consumed your life,
It consumed my life for a year. I had no idea that that was going to happen.
In a good way, consumed your life?
In a good way, yeah, in a good way, in a good way. You don't know that when you're getting into it. You know, my boss at the time said we were doing a book with Prince, so automatically I'm thinking, Prince Charles? Prince. And
the Prince, yes, right.
So she goes, no, the Prince.
Sexier.
Yeah. And, you know, I was just kind of like, what? Wow. You know, I grew up on Purple Rain. That was the first rated R movie I ever saw.
You know, on the subject of wow, Todd, you know, one of the seminal rock and roll moments of all time is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, March 15, 2004. Prince played on a tribute to George Harrison, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and the word played is grossly insufficient to describe what he did right here.
Yeah, that was such a powerful moment, you know, where George Harrison's guitar gently wept, Prince's guitar wailed and screamed and moaned, and really with all the industry in the room that night, Prince did a beautiful job of really tipping his hat to George Harrison, but also reminding people the power of his talent and how he could control a room, control an audience, control the sound, and in so many ways. And I think a lot of what you hear with Prince is how he controlled things. He brought in new sounds, he invented new musical modes. But it's also, you know, really nice to hear all these stories where he was just such a gentle, kind soul with people. But, you know, Prince is just touches people in the way few artists do. He, you know, also the power that he had to give other people permission to express themselves, to be creative, to kind of step out of the box is really a legacy that will go on for a long, long time.
He forced people to step it up just to keep up. Was one of the beautiful quotes about him. Now, in hearing people, look, there's always a tendency to lionize those who pass. And it's probably a good instinct, especially when they're a creative force. But I keep hearing that, don't get lost in the music, don't get lost in the music. This was a man who shaped culture.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, you know, again, we're, you know, all the same age range. 84, 85, 78 was his first big hit, certainly overseas. But 84, 85, Purple Rain, you're 14, 15, and this guy comes out, and he is a beautiful man who's obviously playing to that, confusing you about what is masculine, what is feminine, you know, what is sexy, because there was never an unattractive woman within 5 miles of the guy.
He was all masculine.
You were in the room, you know.
The culture impact, what does that mean?
I think people, you know, seeing people around him, and being around him myself, I remember the first time I met him was in LA. We were having this big party at his house, and, you know, I get out of the car, I walk through the house like nobody's business, and I go out into the patio, and we're face to face. And I'm like, in my head, you're Prince. And we looked at each other. I said, hi. And he said, hi. And then we turned around at the same time and scurried away from each other. But other times, but other times I was around him, he was completely gracious, magical, a lovely man. And, you know, he spoke to people through his music. He didn't mingle at parties. He went on stage. But he liked to see other people having fun.
Well, Todd, you know, it's interesting because, you know, if you went to one of his shows, he was known to throw these, you know, after parties where he would play and play and play, go to smaller venues, more intimate circumstances, and play all night. He loved music and loved when other people loved music.
Yeah, and it wasn't for Prince, it was about the music. It wasn't about hits. He, I think, expressed some frustration with the music industry, but he continued to perform, produce, do these kind of intimate shows that you're referring to, and it was just about the music for him. And, you know, so many people that had the pleasure, the unique experience of having those intimate concerts with him, you know, really like we're left with such an important impression. But it was about the music for Prince. And, you know, when we're talking about his different styles, he never repeated himself. He didn't stay with the hits. He didn't stay with the same mode. He always was something different. You know, he crossed racial lines, he crossed musical lines, he crossed gender lines, but just never was the same, always repeated himself, and always gave us something new.
That's absolutely true. Todd, Kathleen, I know that he said, we heard this quote, he wanted his music to speak loudest for him, and it indeed did. Thank you so much for joining us.